All right, what's up, everybody? It's been a little while. Oh, hold on. There we go. All right, UFC 325. That's what we're talking about right now. I am on my lunch break. I'm about to go snag me something to eat. Um, I am very, very torn and I'm very confused about UFC 225. So, hear me out here. The first thing that's got me like genuinely confused is was this was this numbered UFC like kind of lame? I don't I don't know if it was just me or if other people feel the same way. I was very distracted, to be fair. My 1 year old was asleep in the other room, and so I had him on the baby cam, and I was just pretty much waiting for him to wake up, essentially. And he was asleep from like 6 to 7:30, so he was asleep for the majority of the event. And that was another thing, like this event went by so fast. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like they were introducing Volk and David for the walkouts and it was already like 8:05, 8:10, which I don't know, maybe I'm just tripping. I feel like that's pretty fast. um I talked to my friend, and he said that he's also a very avid UFC, MMA enjoyer, a watcher, participator, and he was saying that he feels like it wasn't as hype because the last card was a lot more hype, I guess. And I'm not sure if that's a factor too. Like I just got spoiled, like that was because I do remember a lot more about the last card than this card, and this card just happened. I literally have brought up the fights and kind of like not the actual like fights themselves, but just like who fought, you know, how it was decided to go to decision, the statistics, if you will. And I mean, I know the first fight was a wash because the original fight that was scheduled got canned for whatever reason, and somebody had to step in last minute, and that poor guy got subbed first round. So that fight was kind of a wash, long before it even started. But yeah, I just can't put my finger on it. I feel like all the fights, I don't know, maybe it's me, maybe I'm a filthy casual, but I just feel like there weren't enough big names on the card. Like besides the main event, David and Volk, Tui, I call him Tui. I'm pretty sure everyone else does. He's the one that I was looking forward to his fight, and I was looking forward to Dan Hooker's fight. But all the other players in the game, I'm just kind of like, I don't. San Juani, or whatever his name is, the self-proclaimed God of War. I'm somewhat familiar with him, but I don't know. I personally wouldn't consider him like oh yeah, no, he's a big, like, I know that guy's name, I know these people by name, and I could point them out in a lineup. He's not one of those people, unfortunately, for me. Which, again, maybe I'm just a filthy casual. I feel like I've been watching UFC and MMA related sports for a while now. I wouldn't consider myself casual anymore, but, to each their own. Having said that, the Tuivasa fight, man, that was kind of a letdown because I really do believe he could have won that fight, but for whatever reason, he kept. I mean, I do understand, like, this is heavyweight division. Like, these guys, especially Tui, like, he's a big dude. Like, all it takes is a couple punches and, bro's out of breath. Like, I guess same thing with the other guy. He looked like he was in better shape compared to Tui, but the same thing still applies. Like, you're flailing, 200 plus pounds around, whether that's swinging punches or dancing around the octagon. Like, that's not easy, and I understand that. Hang on, I'm gonna put you all on pause here real quick. Alrighty, I just grabbed my lunch. I think Tui could have won that fight. I really do. He came in hot and heavy, no pun intended, and I feel like he burnt up a lot of his energy. And I mean, I get it. He hasn't fought in a while. He was in his, his home turf of Australia. So it's like, I understand, you're hyped, you're jacked. Like, I get it. But it's like, brother, you need to conserve, you especially, no offense, need to conserve your energy. Like, you can't be blowing your load like that. And then there was just a lot of awkward decisions on Tui's end. Like, the dude you're fighting's a grappler. I mean, obviously, the dude had good striking too. Like, I'm not dismissing him or saying that he's like a one-trick pony or nothing. But it's like, dude, like, why? There was this weird, like, exchange that they had, and Tui, like, tried to, like, grab him in, like, a headlock or a choke of some sort, like a kind of, like, guillotine-looking, it looked like a guillotine, I'm not entirely sure, but, and he falls to the floor, like, he literally, like, sat down, almost looks like Tui sat down with him in a headlock, but it's like, dude, why? I mean, he could have panicked or whatever. Like, I understand to an extent some of the logic behind his decisions, but it's like, dude, like, why on God's earth are you trying to get down on the ground with the grappler guy? Like, I don't, certified, moment. Because then there was a couple, man, I want to say almost at least once every round, there was a moment where it's like, it almost seemed like Tui was trying to grapple with the dude. And I'm like, why though, Tui? Why? What? Where's the logic, Tui? Help me understand. Why are you trying to get caught on the ground with this dude? And, like, I get it. Like I said, like, these dudes are heavyweight. They're tired. They're trying to hug it out. They're trying to save some energy. But again, like, in the last round too, like, because clearly Tui had not done. Unfortunately, he had not done enough to win any of those rounds, unfortunately. And it's like, brother, like, why? If you're down all these rounds, why in the heck are you trying to hug it out with him at, like, the last 2 minutes of the fight? I'm genuinely confused by this decision. But, alas, that's what he did, and he lost via decision. I do think Tui could have rocked him. If Tui would have approached the first round with a little more gravitas and a lot less, Hail Mary, swing for the fences, which again, I understand. That's kind of a lot of the heavyweight division's, like, fighting style. It's like, swing for the fences, kind of like spray and pray, hope to God one of these punches lands and it'll be done. Like, all of those dudes have one hit knockout power. So I get it. But it's like both the guy he was fighting and Tui, got rocked a couple times. And so neither one of them ended up getting knocked out. So it's like, if I'm in the heavyweight division and I land cleanly 2 hits, 1-2 combo, and the dude's not, I mean, clearly he was rocked, but he wasn't going, like, it didn't knock him out, like, that immediately would have told me, like, I need to change my game plan, like, effective immediately, because clearly he can take what I'm throwing out, so I need to just start slowly picking him apart and open him up in a different way. the other fight that happened was the obviously I was talking about it a second ago. The Dan Hooker versus the self-proclaimed God of War. Am I a freaking psychopath for feeling like Herb called it a little too soon? I was talking about my friend because my friend's a lot more like sane. I'm a little more on the insane side. He's a little more logical than I am. So I usually bounce my thoughts and my ideas off of him to get a much more grounded, perception and idea of what I'm thinking. And he said like Herb let it go on for quite some time. And he personally felt like it was enough time, but he could, like he said, he could see the argument for either one. I mean, Herb, you can very clearly see Herb tell Dan that he needs to start defending himself, and so Herb started hitting the dude. He started smacking him, but then a couple seconds later, Herb still called it anyway. So I don't know. I was really confused at that. Like, yeah, Dan was very, very much getting rocked, but it's like he was still cognizant. He was, he still had his wits about him. It wasn't like as soon as dude got off and Herb called it, he just went limp or something, like, I don't know. I think it's because I think what's happening right now, at least with this fight, or sorry, this card, is that my emotions are getting in the way of facts. Like I really wanted Dan to win. Like I like Dan Hooker over that God of War fella. And so I'm just letting my bias get in the way, clouding my judgment. Because I really did. I mean, there was literally like 15, 20 seconds left on the clock when Herb called it. And like I said, Dan was actively striking him back. It wasn't just he was in the turtle, fetal position, turtled up. He was actively attempting to hit the dude. Excuse me. But it is what it is. I think Dan could have won that one too. What was the other one I was going to talk about? The Roofy? Is it Roofy? Is that really how you say his name? Roofy. Ruffy. Dude with the Luffy tattoo on his chest. That fight, dude, I'm not going to lie. Other than the guy's name and the tattoo, like, that fight was kind of boring. I can't, like, I'm really trying to remember. I remember they were just kind of like bouncing around each other, his opponent and him, and they were just kind of sharing strikes every now and again, but, like, I honestly don't even remember how that fight finished. It went to not a decision, it was a stoppage, if I remember correctly. The first was a sub, Tui's went to decision, the God of Wars was a stoppage, and Lopez and Volk went the distance. So I genuinely don't remember. I'm pretty sure there was the 2 stoppages, a sub, 2 stoppages, and 2 decisions, if I remember correctly. Honest to God, dude, like I could have been distracted, but that fight just was so disinteresting to me. It probably doesn't help that I was unfamiliar with both the fighters, which is probably why I was so disinterested with the first fight as well. I'm starting to think it's just me. Just sitting here talking about it, like, I think it's a me problem. It's because I don't know these fighters, and I'm unfamiliar with them. And it's making me so disinterested. It's gotta be. Because like I said, like the other card was really good, and I remember the majority of it. I'm friggin' Skittles was on there. Oh, maybe not. I'm trying to think about it right now. I'm trying to think of who was the main event for that one. Oh, Gaethje and Pemblet. That was a good one. Pemblet got a rude awakening. It's like you're not, Honestly, I don't have anything bad to say about Patty. A lot of people don't like him, and I can kind of understand why, but it's like Patty's not he's not as good as he thinks he is, or as the UFC would try to kind of like portray him to be, but he's also not nearly as bad as people think he is either, you know? He's just kind of mid in reality, but that's neither here nor there. I was just trying to see if I could remember the fight. But the main event, of course, David versus Volk. There's a channel that I watch on YouTube called MMA on Point, and the guy was making a good point, and he was just like, there hasn't been enough time between Lopez Volk the first time around versus the rematch run back. He was basically like saying like, what's David even done to really like warrant a run back so soon? And I mean, I guess that's kind of true. They probably just needed something to fill the card, you know, which doesn't make sense to me, like why they did two back to back like that. It's probably due to scheduling with Sydney, Australia. That'd be my guess. You know, if the schedules line up and they're, you know, it's whatchamacallit. I would make an argument that that's an element of MMA and UFC that people kind of like gloss over. Like scheduling is a big deal. Like you need the venue available, and if it's like, you know, Sydney, Australia, like that has to be the biggest, most popular. That's like Tokyo, Japan, right? Or New York, you know, New York City, New York. Like those are like, you know what I mean? Like those are like the biggest, most famous cities in their respective states or countries. You know what I mean? Like, so if the schedule says this is when you can be here, you need to be there. So I kind of understand that element of it, which is probably why we got two back to back like the way that we did. Hang on a tick. I need to check the time here. Okay, I got some time. Not a lot. Don't want to be late back to work, you know. But long story short, I feel like the first Lopez Volkanovski fight was way better than the second one. Which I don't know if that's just a testament to Volkanovski, old man Volk, being as good as he is, or something was up with Lopez. There was some kind of like the Tuivasa fight. There was some strange decisions, like when he had grabbed a hold of Volk and Volk did like a jumping guillotine, like our good buddy Dustin Poirier. And he had him, man. Like you could see David Lopez like change colors in real time. And I'm just like, why? Because Volk is really good. Like now that I'm thinking about it and saying it out loud, like he's really good like everywhere. He's got good striking. He's got good fight IQ. He's got good grappling. And so for me, I'm like, would I say his grappling is better than his striking? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. That's a toss-up. But it's just like David Lopez is like all striking, right? Like he has some grappling capabilities, but he's primarily striking. So it's just like, I don't know what happened, if it was just maybe like a moment of opportunity came up for Volk and he took it. But I'm like, dude, why would you put yourself in that position? David could have won, but because David's like significantly taller, he has more reach. So, in Volkanovski's own words, he's a midget. That's what he said. Don't get mad at me. So if I'm taller than this dude, I got more reach than this dude, I'm trying to keep the fight at a medium distance. Like, I'm not trying to get all close up and personal, and I'm not trying to run away from the dude either. If David Lopez would have focused more on leg kicks and body kicks, which I think I want to say like around round 2, he started to, and then just like completely forgot. Like not nearly enough leg kicks and body kicks. Like, if he would have kept working that leg, Volk wouldn't have been able to run away as much or, dodge. I say run away, and that kind of makes it sound bad, but it's like that's basically what you're doing. You're evading the incoming hit. I guess running away is a bit extreme, but if you take away the leg, you take away the mobility. Like, you're not going to be able to get away from whatever it is efficiently enough, which thus would open him up. And then the body kicks, like, that hurts over time. As one strategy, if I had been, David's corner, like leg kicks all day, sneak in the body kick every now and again, throw a combo if you can, but do not prioritize the striking, with the hands. Like, if you can throw a combo out there, cool, or a counter hit, sure, but it is not a priority. Come the final round, then we could start, after all the leg kicks and the body kicks have done their job, now we can start mixing it up. Now we can start doing something different. Now's the time to go for the head hunting, not any other time. But it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not trying to throw shade at Volk. I like David Lopez a lot, but Volk's good too, and I like him too. I didn't like him at first when he first showed up and started cleaning house, but I mean, dude's proved his worth, and not just as a fighter, but as a person too. Like, he's, he portrays himself as like super down to earth, super cool. Like, he doesn't get all butthurt and stuff. And he, just like everyone else, like, struggles with, some form of a mental illness or some form of depression, which is why, if I remember correctly, why he took the Islam fight on such a short notice. And he was just kind of like, if I'm not fighting, my time's got time to think. And if my brain's got time to think, then it's all bad. And I get that. Like, you can go to some dark places when you're alone. It's a very sad but very real thing. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought. Am I tripping? Am I smoking dick out here? Like, this card was just kind of a meh card. And I don't know if it's because we got spoiled with a really good card prior to, and that this one's just like, it was so close. Like, literally a week ago. They're a week apart. Like, I don't know. I don't understand it. Like I said, I think it might have been a scheduling issue. Personally, I just would have, because there's not going to be a numbered UFC event in February. So if you guys got the Paramount Plus, you might want to hurry up and cancel it, because you're going to pay for a month and not use it. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. And that is all your Unks got for you today.